seek betterment, not titles. So, what I see people doing a lot is instead of actually putting in the work to get better at things, instead, they try to convince others they're better at it, including themselves, by seeking titles. Many years ago, I remember watching this television show back when I used to have television, and they took a special forces, military, police, firefighter, a guy that worked at a gun range. They all pitted them together and had them do this course that was all this military type stuff, and it was, um, breaching, shooting, this all this different stuff. It's pretty interesting. And at the end, the guy who won wasn't the military, wasn't the fire, police, none of that. It was the guy who just worked at a gun range and spent a lot of spent a very large amount of time focusing on his skills, just shooting on his own, practicing, learning all these different things. And that's a good example of seeking betterment instead of seeking titles. There's a guy I work with. He'll he'll go and take these shooting courses that are kind of advanced, like shooting out the back of a moving truck at targets, but isn't a very good shot. And what he really needs to do is actually just go to a target and learn his accuracy. That would benefit him far more. But he can, by doing this course and saying, he can say, "Oh, I did this course and I did that course." I see people and they'll join military, law enforcement, border patrol, these types of things, and to say, "I'm a badass now. Look, I have this title. I have this thing. I was military. I have this qualification." Someone will go to college and they say, "Look how smart I am." I remember my brother finished electrical engineering, and I asked him how electricity works. He couldn't tell me. Uh, and what people will do is they're looking for, because the world was set up in a way that it's actually illegal to hire someone based on IQ, but you could hire someone based on a degree. So what you have is people who aren't very smart. They're not very um, physically adept, right? Either, and so they've all kind of gotten together and thought, okay, well, we'll come up with these little qualifications and titles, men who aren't men, right? And and then we'll say, "Look, I'm good. I have this piece of paper, or I have this title, or I have this thing." And so you'll have a guy who's not a leader, but he'll intentionally become, move up in management positions and say, "Look, I'm in management. I'm a leader." No, you're not. No, you're a leader based on how you act, right? Based on who you are as a person. A title doesn't change that. A guy in law enforcement that weighs 100 pounds, yeah, you could have the title, but you'll get your ass whooped and probably killed if you ever got into a situation. That's really the truth. All of these titles are meant because most jobs and most qualifications, the fact is, they don't really care. You're not really qualified. It's to the lowest common denominator. It doesn't say you're the best in that organization, and it's also, hey, we just need a body. So or body meaning a person that's breathing to do this job. They don't really care if you're qualified. In fact, in the military, they even have I was talking to someone about this the other day. They even call it the a confidence course. And so they're literally just they're very well aware you're not qualified. What they're doing is they are basically they know that if you don't feel confident, you're not going to be able to do the job. You probably either won't go in or you'll quit or you know you'll be afraid to do things. They know you'll probably get seriously injured or hurt if you do, but it's just a numbers game. That'll probably not happen here. We gave you this training that really is useless, and um, yeah, we gave you this training. It's pretty much useless, but you'll because it's a title. We had piece of paper. We made it feel official. We give you a badge. We give you a gun. We give you, you know, a piece of paper for college, whatever the thing is, and you're qualified. You can do the job. They don't really care. They don't really care. I my first inclination of this is I used to work as corrections at a penitentiary, a federal penitentiary, and when I went to the academy for that, I would go and sit at lunchtime at Fletching, Georgia, with people from other agencies. And one guy I sat with was going to Secret Service, and he also happened to be a Marine. And I asked him about the training, and he said, "Oh yeah, it's pretty good. We do some good, vehicle stuff, this, that, and the other." And I said, "Well, how did that?" He was Marine Corps infantry, and I said, "How does that compare to Marine Corps infantry training?" And he said, he literally laughed. He just started laughing, and he said, "Dude, it's a fucking joke, man. There's nothing you're going to do in any agency that's up to par with Marine Corps." And so when people were going on about um, Secret Service failing and so on, I wasn't surprised. Because again, these are just regular people that were given a piece of paper. They said, "Hey, we need some people. Here's a piece of paper. Here, you're qualified. Here, you did this stupid bullshit training." And even when you're in the Marine Corps, you look around, you're like, "Man, we're the best in the world. This is pathetic." And yet, it really is true. You're probably better in the Marine Corps than any federal job, any federal agency, including U.S. Marshals, Secret Service, you name it. Um, the only ones I would personally consider worthy of saying, okay, this is a qualification that actually means something, would be Navy SEAL, MARSOC, Delta Force. Maybe then, okay. Because the lowest common denominator in there, the qualifications are so high that, okay, you actually do have to, be worthy to do it. Um, the financial advisor on television, look at their actual track record. When it comes to stock, these guys are making millions a year. And yet they are worse than the average individual at actually picking stocks. Complete morons. But they have a piece of paper. They say they're qualified. Same with the doctor, right? If you research a particular disease or a medication, chances are, or hormones, chances are the doctor has very, very little experience on any one individual thing, and that you would be more knowledgeable than them in that particular area. But they have the piece of paper. So, I mean, if you need to get a title to make money, because that's the way the world is set up, that's fine. But you'll find that people will tend to focus on titles instead of actually learning and actually getting better at things. So don't focus on titles. Don't when you think, okay, I want to better myself, go read nonfiction. Go read self improvement. Go shooting. Go to the gym. Uh, Even, yeah, that was another thing. Even within, say, jiu-jitsu, what you'll find is that the belts mean very little, because in UFC, almost every single move that wins, and the moves that are used are blue belt. They're beginner. But now they're extremely skilled in those beginner moves. But the black belt knows 1,000 moves, maybe more, and uses almost none of them, right? But he's got the title of black belt. But in reality, it happens frequently that black belts lose to blue belts. So no matter what it is, how much you practice, how much you've actually put the work in, or again, I know guys that they would rather get a certain belt or martial art than actually lift weights, even though doubling or tripling your strength will do more for you in the amount of time you spend than any amount of martial arts. But then they wouldn't have a qualification, a piece of paper. Stop relying on titles and to feel as though you are qualified or good enough. They're pretty meaningless, and especially when dealing with other people, they'll figure you out. They know. Um, don't focus on the title of your job or the a martial art belt or a piece of paper saying you went to college. Instead, focus on actually learning, actually doing better, and actually practicing, and you'll have much, much, much better results in life, and people will actually respect you.